Hey, good morning, physics students. Today we are going to do our meeting point lab. There are going to be two cars involved in this lab. We are going to have one car, the blue car that is going to be a very fast car, and the red car that I have modified so that it is going to be slow. Your goal for this lab is going to be to do essentially two things. Determine how to get the cars to meet at a specific point, and then graph their motion. So those will be the two things you're going to try to do with this lab. Come up with a procedure to get the cars to meet at a specific point, and then graph their motion. So I'm going to take you through the biggest thing you'll want to know about each car would be how fast they're traveling or their velocity. So remember, to get velocity, you're going to need, if it's a constant velocity, you're going to need distance and you're going to need time. So I'm going to run the cars for you. Remember, always when you do a procedure, you want to do it multiple times. So I'll run each car for you multiple times. You can go ahead and time them while I'm doing that. I've set up for you basically 2 meter sticks back to back. So this is going to be a 2 meter long track from where the cars start to where they end. So I'm going to start with the blue car, which will be our fast car, and put it here at the end. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. Okay, that was trial number 1. All right, trial number 2 for the blue car. 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. All right, trial number 3 for the blue car. 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. Okay, so there was our 3 trials for the blue car. I'm going to do these same 3 trials for the red car. You'll notice with the red car, it's going to go much slower. And here's the red car. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. All right, here's going to be our second trial for the red car. 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. And our last trial with the red car. 3, 2, 1, go. And stop. Okay, so there were our 3 trials for each car. All right, guys, I'm going to walk you through the second part of the lab, and that's going to be the procedure, data, and graphing part of it to show you what that needs to be set up. And this is the part that you're going to be turning in. All right, so I've got it up here on the whiteboard for you. I'm just going to kind of walk you through everything. Hopefully we can see that okay. There we go. Okay, so first thing you're going to need is your procedure section. So that's going to be your steps to get the cars to meet at 0.5 meters and at 1 meter. So that's going to be your goal, is how can I do a procedure to get the blue and the red car to meet at this point? And then how can I do a different procedure to get them to meet at this point right in the middle? So those are going to be your 2 procedures you're going to try to come up with. A lot of the steps will be the same. So what can I do to get the cars to meet here? What can I use to get the cars to meet here? So that's our first part of it. I'm going to move the table down a little bit so we can see the next 2 parts. There we go. All right, the next 2 parts are going to be creating a table and doing some graphs. So your table, and I put up here data table. So here's for our red car. We did 3 trials for the red car. The distance, we can go ahead and put that in right now. The distance it traveled would have been the entire length So 2 meters. Y'all will have timed it, and then you can use that to solve for velocity. So you want to do that 3 times. The distance for all of these is going to be 2 meters. 2 meters. And then we could do a sample calculation to figure out how fast it was going. So velocity is going to equal how far it traveled, the displacement or distance, over time. And I just want you to show one sample calculation for that. And then our third part is going to be doing a graph. Remember, these are constant velocity cars. That is a really big hint for this graph and for this graph. If you need help with making the graphs, remember, you can always go back and look at that practice graphing we did with the ramps and the ball, and that will help you. Just set it at a constant velocity and see what those graphs look like if you're having a hard time with these. What I would do is you're going to make one set of graphs for when the cars met at 0.5 meters and do a second set of graphs for when they meet at 1 meter. What you may want to do is use different colored markers or different colored pens. One for the blue car, so I'll do the blue car in blue, which would make sense. And this is a hint for your lab. I put the blue car's acceleration as 0. If it's a constant velocity, it means its velocity isn't changing. I'm going to put the red car also right at 0 because its velocity didn't change. Now, one of them had a faster velocity than the other. The blue was a lot faster. So to graph my velocity here, because its velocity isn't changing, it's just a nice straight line. What you'll need to know and what you'll have to calculate is, what is that line at? Was the car going 10 meters per second? It wasn't. Was it going a meter per second? That'll be the number you have to come up with. And you can just label that and go, it was going 1 meter a second. And then for the red car, same thing. This nice straight line. What does the red car look like? This graph, I'll go ahead and put my red car line in here. This graph, I'm going to let you guys try that out. On the side, I'm going to give you one other hint. The blue car is starting at 0. The red car is starting at 2 meters. So think through that, what that might look like in terms of doing your graph. All right, guys, if you have questions, please let me know, and I will see you next time.